Planes have been grounded, banks disrupted, and broadcasters taken off air due to a worldwide technological glitch.
US journalist Evan Gershkovich has been sentenced to 16 years in prison by a Russian court.
Ukrainian President Zelensky has delivered an impassioned plea to senior UK policymakers for more support defending against Russia.
Donald Trump accepts the Republican presidential nomination on the final day of the party's national convention.
Planes have been grounded, banks disrupted, and broadcasters taken off air due to a major global technological glitch. US cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike admitted that a defect in a product update for Microsoft programs was to blame. CrowdStrike's CEO George Kurtz said that the identified issue was being fixed and the disruption was not a cyber attack. Berlin's Brandenburg Airport and London's Gatwick Airport are among a slate of European transport hubs impacted and reporting delays, with Edinburgh Airport stating passengers had missed flights. Hospitals in Britain and Germany are reporting system malfunctions, with one cancelling elective surgery. Australian and South African banks are reporting that customers are unable to use their bank cards, while major UK broadcasters were temporarily offline. Grocery stores and retail outlets have reported they are unable to make in-store payments.
Ukrainian President Zelensky has delivered an impassioned plea to senior UK policymakers for more support defending against Russia. Zelensky told number 10 Downing Street there was an urgent need for additional long-range weapons and strengthened maritime support.
Thanks so much. Thanks for the invitation to EPC. Yes, and we really had a productive meeting in NATO summit, and I also want to discuss with you today also strong decision which we can help in this war, help us.
The UK's new Prime Minister Keir Starmer has said firming up Britain's support for Ukraine and facing down aggression was high on the meeting's agenda. Starmer has previously indicated that Ukraine could only use missile support for defensive purposes against Russia.
US journalist Evan Gershkovich has been convicted on espionage charges by a Russian court and sentenced to 16 years in prison. Gershkovich, his employer and the US government have vehemently denied the charges, with the latter describing the trial as a sham. The Wall Street Journal reporter was arrested and detained in March 2023 while on a reporting trip to Yekaterinburg. Upon his arrest, he was accused of spying for the United States and has remained in custody ever since. His trial took place behind closed doors, as espionage and treason cases often do in Russia. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said at the UN earlier this week that Moscow and Washington are discussing a prisoner exchange, but any such deal could take months or even years.
A tentative deal for the controversial excavation of lithium has been signed by Serbia, Germany and the European Commission. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and the Vice President of the European Commission, Maroš Šefčovič, met with the Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić to conclude the deal. It was agreed upon in a strategic partnership on sustainable resources, battery production chains and electric vehicles in Belgrade, Serbia.
Schätzen kann ein wichtiges europäisches Projekt, auch ein Beitrag dazu, dass Europa in einer Welt, die sich ändert, souverän bleiben kann und nicht abhängig ist von anderen.
Lithium is a critical substance in making batteries for electric vehicles, with Germany being the largest car maker in Europe. It wants to secure a reliable source of lithium for its electric vehicle industry, as Europe struggles to reduce its dependency on Chinese imports. Earlier this month, the Serbian Constitutional Court overturned a ruling to cancel a multi-billion-dollar project to mine lithium, but after thousands took to the streets in protest, for fear of potential hazards to the environment.
Donald Trump has accepted the Republican presidential nomination on the final day of the party's national convention. Trump said he was running for all of America because there's no victory in winning for half of America. The 78-year-old former president also described how he survived an assassination attempt 5 days ago because he had God on his side. Trump will face Democrat Joe Biden in the presidential election on November the 5th. A police officer has been wounded in a knife attack in the Champs-Élysées neighborhood of Paris. Interior Minister Gérald Darmanin said on X that the assailant had been immediately neutralized. An anonymous official confirmed that the attacker is still alive. The attack comes with the French capital already on high security alert just days before the July 26 opening of the Summer Olympics.
Yemen's Houthis have claimed responsibility for launching a deadly drone attack on an apartment complex in Israel. A Houthi armed forces spokesperson said on social media that the group was behind the strike launched in support of Hamas. One person died and a dozen were injured, according to Tel Aviv police.
כשהניידות הראשונות הגיעו לזירה, התברר שיש פה איזושהי זירת פיצוץ שלא ברורה. רואים פה הרס שמפוזר בקוטר.
It was not immediately clear how the strike evaded Israel's strong air defenses. For the past 9 months, Houthi fighters have fired dozens of drones and missiles towards Israel, and until recently, all were intercepted. A Houthi military spokesperson said this new type of drone was built to fly undetected through the Iron Dome.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has announced €99 million in funding to tackle illegal migration. Starmer said to stop illegal migration, we must also tackle it at source. The money will fund projects across Africa and the Middle East and includes humanitarian and health support and access to education. Starmer was speaking to the leaders of 45 countries at the European Political Community Summit in Oxfordshire. Offices and businesses in Dakar have been closed as student protests against how government jobs are allocated continue. Students have been demonstrating for weeks against the quota system, which sees a third of civil service jobs earmarked for the descendants of veterans of the War for Independence. Students say it's unfair and want it replaced with a merit-based system. Protests have often been violent, with 6 people killed on Tuesday.
Southern Europe is experiencing extreme heat as a wave of hot air from Africa sweeps across the region. In Rome, temperatures have soared to above 40 degrees Celsius, causing the Italian Health Ministry to place it under the most severe heat warning, along with 13 other Italian cities. 4 people have already died from heat in the capital. Madrid has seen temperatures rise to the high 30s, and the government has introduced a heat risk awareness campaign which could result in the banning of work outdoors. 6 other Spanish regions are also under alerts for high temperatures. In Greece, outdoor work such as manual labour, deliveries and construction has already been banned during the hottest time of the day. Nighttime temperatures in parts of Athens have remained above 30 degrees for the past 10 days. In Portugal, around 14 municipalities are reported to be at risk of rural fires due to the hot weather. Temperatures also remain high in Lisbon, where people have headed to the beach to cope with the warmth. The heat wave is expected to last until Sunday.
The Refugee Olympic team, including athletes, coaches and staff, have all arrived in France to take part in a pre-games welcome camp. The event is an opportunity for the athletes to meet for the first time and create a sense of unity amongst the team. The Refugee Olympic team is made up of 37 athletes from several countries and competing in 12 different sports. Appearing for the third consecutive Olympic Games, this year's refugee team is the largest yet, reflective of the growing number of refugees globally.
I have a mission. I want to represent in the Olympic, not just only for one refugee intake fund. I want to be in Olympic as a 100 million people. They are displaced. They are in a really, really difficult situation.
Wir sind 37 Sportler für 120 Millionen Flüchtlinge auf der Welt. Und wir wollen halt dann die Menschen aufmerksam machen, dass wir ja, nicht nur 37 Sportler sind, sondern hunderte Millionen für Flüchtlinge, Obdachlosen, die keine Hoffnung haben. Und hoffentlich können wir auch etwas ändern.
With its rich history, strong understanding of the impact of war and affinity with the plight of refugees, Bayeux was considered a perfect host to bring the team together.
Ce qui est incroyable pour nous en accueillant la délégation des réfugiés olympiques, c'est toute la diversité que peut nous apporter cette délégation. Les associations sportives de Bayeux sont pleinement associées, les habitants vont pouvoir rencontrer les sportifs, et ça pour nous c'est une valeur supplémentaire.
The opening ceremony for the Paris Olympics takes place on July the 26th and the Games run until August the 11th.